Just about 50 miles north of where Loach had been riding for the equestrian team is Ponca Hills, where Uno had been the whole time. We're here at the Crown Plaza in downtown Kansas City, where the President of the United States has just arrived, and we've been waiting for him all day, and we've seen security just continue to pile up around the area, shutting down streets left and right. It happened in daylight, and the person probably walked down this driveway up to where this flag used to be, where they used a magic marker to put a cryptic message. And now the homeowners are wondering why this house, why this flag, and what does the message even mean? But what does this year's different weather mean for this year's corn harvest? The best recommendation by doctors is to get vaccinated. Measles spread easily and fast, so the earlier you can get protected, the better it is. The Don Bosco Center put clubs in all of their steering wheels, as well as security cameras across the entire parking lot to prevent future theft. The race to replace outgoing Nebraska Governor Dave Heineman features two candidates with sharply different political views. Well, good things come in pairs, sometimes even for birthdays. Last week, there were violent protests and police were criticized for using excessive force in Ferguson, Missouri. Will Height says that average temperatures in Nebraska have gone up more than 1 degree since 1985. He says what's more concerning, though, is that these temperatures will reach up to 4 to 5 degrees warmer before the end of the century.
The higher scenario, which is the scenario that we're currently on, would project an increase of 8 to 9 degrees.
Will Height says the number of days reaching over 100 degrees in Nebraska will increase by 20 to 25 in a few decades. Since Nebraska is an ag state, these higher temperatures will affect our resources and economy.
I mean, increasing temperatures is going to put a much greater demand on the water resources we have. We're talking about the impacts of increasing temperatures, but also very little increase in precipitation for the most part.
UNL is doing their part to raise awareness by holding a lecture today to understand climate change. Tian Chow, the recruitment officer for Sustain UNL, says this topic is one everyone needs to be a part of.
This is an issue for our generation, and that people want action to be taken, to either prepare ourselves for what's coming or to lessen the impact.
All of these kinds of things, they get the attention not only of our policymakers and our elected officials, but they also get the attention of the public and hopefully make them more aware of the fact that this is an important issue. Basically, it comes down to what kind of future do you want for your children and your grandchildren.
Reporting for Star City News, I'm Haley Herzog. Nobody should have to face the death of a well-liked friend, son, and brother, especially one that might have been prevented. 22-year-old Nebraska Wesleyan student Maury Lawrence was killed on October 12th. The circumstances behind his death are still hard for friends to understand.
He's a really good friend of mine. Just an all-around a great guy.
Lawrence died during a party bus celebration with his football teammates. At a gas station, Lawrence walked away from the bus into the darkness and onto nearby Interstate 80. There, he was struck and killed by a passing vehicle. After investigating the case for a month, today, the Lancaster County Sheriff's Department released their findings on Lawrence's death.
Lawrence was determined to have died from blunt force trauma. His blood alcohol content was 0.245 BAC, which is about 3 times the legal limit. Would he be driving?
Sheriff Wagner says the party bus Lawrence was on is not responsible for his death.
I mean, they didn't do anything that they're not supposed to do.
Hear a prayer, Lord. Please be with us.
Nebraska Wesleyan held a candlelight vigil a few days after Lawrence's death, where news of the tragedy left many of his classmates and friends shaken.
Like I said, the campus is so connected because we are a smaller campus and so many people knew Maury, and everybody's really just leaning on each other right now.
He always had just a grin on his face all day long.
Football teammate and friend Sheridan Mason says he'll always remember Lawrence's kindness, a friend whose life was filled with promise that ended too soon.
He knew he was always up to something or had some witty remark to say about just anything to cheer you up. He'd always help you out with any sort of advice you need, whether it was from family, schoolwork, friends, relationships. He always had something to say. I miss him.
For Star City News, I'm Haley Herzog.